Hey, what's up guys, welcome, Daddy here, bringing you guys another bombastic video. And in this commentary, I'll actually give you guys some tips on how to go for early picks with the AWP. And by no means, I'm not a very good player in this game, but a lot of you people have been asking me to do a tip video on at least something, so I decided this is a thing that I'm fairly good at, so I'll just make a tip video on this, see if I get positive feedback from you guys. Basically, there are quite a few ways to get a pick on many different maps, and one of the most popular ones probably at middle. People like to peek middle on Dust 2, and a lot of different maps as well, and I personally don't like doing it just because you can easily get picked off from here if the enemy player is a lot more skilled or if he has a little bit more luck than you. So that's why I kinda don't like this spot. And what I like to do is basically put my crosshair over here and watch people crossing from A side to B side, so I can see them crossing and maybe even get a headshot if I shoot them through this wall. Basically, if I see someone crossing, I don't try to shoot them through the gap. I try to shoot them through this spot over here, because that's where most likely their head is going to be. And using this spot, I have gotten a few headshots and I have also done some damage to the enemy players, but a friend actually taught me about this spot. His channel will be down below in the description. But one thing I actually don't like to do in middle is peek the gap, because there can be standing an enemy over, and what he is going to be looking at is this side or this side. People don't usually just stand here in the middle. People usually stand here or here, so they can take cover. And what you are going to be looking at also isn't going to be middle. You're going to be looking at over here or somewhere on top, because usually, well, most of the time I've seen people just standing here, not at the bottom. I don't know why, maybe it's just a little more common at this rank, but both of you are going to be looking at two spots, and whoever puts their crosshair perfectly, that is going to win the gunfight. And if you're getting picked from this spot, it's very frustrating. And sorry if I didn't explain it too well, just because I seriously don't like peeking middle and going for early picks at middle. Also, you can go for early picks at Dust 2 long, which I like to do personally, and in my opinion it's a lot easier than going for picks at middle, just because, well, I don't know, actually, it just feels that way. From middle, you can actually get picked off from many different angles and stuff like that. It's very dangerous in my opinion. But here, if you do everything right, you should be able to get the pick, or at least survive. So, what people like to do, what you have to do to get the pick is actually try to get first. You gotta try to be first. You gotta be faster than your opponent. And, what I also like to do is crouch, because they will be expecting you to stand. And if you crouch, they might need to adjust their crosshair. For example, the enemy is right there. I peek him right here, and he's crouching. So I have to pull my crosshair all the way down just to kill him. So crouching is also a good idea, and it might help you to get the pick. And yeah, what also you could do is have a teammate throw a flash to distract the enemy, or even you can throw the flash over the top, then go for the pick. And what you also have to do is learn the angles. You have to know at which exact angle you're going to aim at that exact spot. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not always perfect with this, but I am trying to improve. And if you know you're not going to be first, for example, you spawn somewhere right there, you have a spawn for a B rush, but for some reason you decide to push long A and go for the pick. So if you know there is going to be an enemy, or you assume there's going to be an enemy, pre-shooting. Pre-shooting is pretty easy actually. You just learn the angles and you shoot. It's somewhat like quickscoping. You're not always going to get the shot to go, As you can see, I wasn't perfect with my shots, but it's possible to pick an enemy using oh my god, using pre-shooting, and the enemy might get scared, and because you're actually going to be like peeking for less than a second, he might not be able to pick you. He will most likely just stand there, and at lower ranks, I mean at my rank, Master Guardian 2, Master Guardian Elite, at Nova ranks, at Silver ranks, the person probably isn't going to be... The person probably won't have such a good reaction, and he won't react in time. He won't be able to kill you. So, if you know there's going to be an enemy, just pre-shoot him. You can also pre-shoot... You can also not pre-shoot his head, you can pre-shoot his body. Because with the AWP, you don't necessarily have to go for headshots, you can also go for body shots and stuff like that. So after you have taken the shot, for example, you missed, you shoot somewhere in the midair, and your opponent also took a shot and he missed, the best thing to do is back off. I see a lot of people just pushing right into the side after they miss a shot. Or maybe the AWPer backs off, but the rest of the team just pushes into side. And that actually happens quite a lot while playing with randoms. And I personally don't like the idea of pushing into side after a missed shot. If I don't get the pick, I like to just back off. Maybe try to get the pick later in the match, later in the round. Or just go for a B tag, go for a middle tag, go short. Don't force it. But that's just only my opinion. I think rushing into side if you miss a shot isn't the best idea, especially if your opponent didn't even shoot. If your opponent didn't shoot you, but you did and you missed, then it's definitely not a good idea to just charge in. That's my opinion, at least. And you can also go for early picks at B side, but for this you really gotta have a good spawn. For example, if you spawn here or here, you can definitely try to go for this pick, because you should be able to be first. You should be able to get to the spot faster than your enemy, and you can pick people off if they try to cross from the side to the box, and if they try to cross over here, you can just pick them off with the AWP. And this is not too effective, because at this spot you can easily get smoked off, and there can also be flashes flying at you, trying to mess up your position and stuff like that. So this is not that effective, but it's possible to pick someone off when they're trying to cross from side to this box. And also, more often than not, people just won't cross because they know it's dangerous. Now here's a little bit of different situation, basically the middle. Oh, that wasn't a good smoke. Basically the middle is smoked off. It's totally smoked, you can't see shit. The player most likely is not going to be standing there if the middle is smoked. But what you can try to do is go over here, and if you have taken mid control, you can try to go over here and see if there's an AWPer there, and he will not be expecting this. I have gotten countless frags using this strategy. When the middle is smoked, the enemy team has the AWP, and the AWPer is watching middle, he might be standing right there, and if you jump on this thing over here, you will probably be able to pick him off. But that's only if the terrorists have taken the mid control, because there could be player at short, there could be player lower, and they can kill you. So if you're sure there are no players over there, no players there, you can go for the pick, and it's very, very effective. And here we are on the map Mirage, and for Mirage it's actually very similar. You can go for the pick at A, you can go for the pick at middle, and the B is not all that effective, just as on Dust 2. But for the A side as a CD, if the terrorists decide to rush the ramp, you can try to put yourself in this spot and see if you can pick anyone off over here. but you gotta be very quick, you gotta have a good reaction to pick someone, and stuff like that. So that's not all that hard, that's a pretty simple spot. Yeah. If you want to go to middle, and with middle it's tricky again. If you have a good spot, go for it. It's going to be very rewarding, and you gotta find a way to get to middle as fast as possible. What you can try to do is fly or jump in the mid-air to get here faster than usual. And it should work, you should be able to be faster than your enemy. And it's not all that difficult. Oh, I messed it up. Wow. And I don't even do that perfectly. See, I gotta train a lot more to do this perfectly. But this is not all that hard, this is pretty simple. You can jump in mid-air and go for the pick at middle. So if you know you're going to be first, if you know you got here very fast, what you can do is not put yourself in this position, because that's where the enemy is going to be expecting you to be. What you want to do is maybe put yourself here, maybe even up from this position. I personally like to put myself in the middle, because enemy is not going to be expecting you to be at the middle of this window. And just wait for him to come out and pick him off. Shouldn't be all that hard if you get to middle first. And as the terrorist, it's pretty much the same thing. If you have a good spawn, go for it. Just run, and go for the pick. But in my opinion, if a counter-terrorist has a good spawn, if he gets to the middle very fast, if he jumps mid-air, if he changes the directions mid-air, I think counter-terrorists should be able to be here first, and they probably have an advantage in the middle. So if you do everything right as a CD, I think this should be a pretty easy pick. Unless the enemy operator is more skilled than you, of course. And for the B side, it's actually pretty simple, not all that hard. Of course you gotta get here fast and shit like that, but you can just jump on this barrel, or how do you call it, and wait for people to rush over here. And once you actually kill the player, you gotta back off. Because if they rush, probably 4 or 5 people are going to just run over here. If you pick 1 or 2 people off, just back off. You gotta try to survive, don't give them the op, because if they're going to rush, it's probably going to be an anti-eco round. They're probably going to have an eco, because usually when people have money, they just don't charge into bomb site just for fun. And you can also use this spot, and it will be harder for them to spot you, but it will not be as easy for you to kill anyone and stuff like that. What you can also do is set up here and set up here at short and try to go for picks at middle. But that's not a thing I like to do at Mirage. At Mirage I usually just like to go for a pick at A, or most of the time at middle. And if I get the pick, I just quickly back off and try to win the round, because you're in a very good 4v5 situation. And I do understand that different people might have different opinions on how to get early picks at many different maps. And my rank isn't all that high right now, it's Master Guardian 2. I ranked down from Master Guardian Elite. And this tutorial probably didn't help anyone at a higher rank, but it's just these were just some pretty basic things for people who want to go for early picks, and I hope that I helped at least one person out there, and I hope you guys actually liked this tip video, because these are not the kind of videos I actually make. And this was one of my first tip videos on Counter-Strike, if not the very first. And I would appreciate if you guys left a like and let me know in comments down below what you think about the video. But now I'll show you guys how an early pick works in a competitive game. But this is actually how an early pick works in action on the map DE Overpass, and this probably isn't a standard early pick just because I push all the way to catch these enemies off guard, and I pull out my AWP, I aim and get the pick, try to get another one, and then back off. And that's, in my opinion, a successful early pick. Puts your team in a very good 4v5 situation. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more Counter-Strike videos. And my name is Helmut, and I'll see you all later. Peace out.